After being kicked out of the hero's party, the white mage Lloyd coincidentally joins a legendary S-rank party. While his old team collapses, Lloyd builds a legacy with his extraordinary powers, which he believes are normal, becoming the strongest adventurer in history without even knowing it. What challenges will Lloyd face? Follow to the end to find out. The episode of this anime, Lloyd, begins in this devastated place when he was young. He says, "We can defeat the Demon Lord." Then, Merlin comes to him and, after hugging him, says, "I wish I hadn't let my guard down at that moment." After that, she takes him to this place and begins to train him in some supernatural abilities. She tells him, "Try this, and if you don't do it, you'll go without dinner if you can't." "Come on, Lloyd, you can do it." Lloyd tries again and again, and indeed, my friends, he actually does it. Merlin is overjoyed that he was able to overcome himself. Then she sets him on fire as a joke, my friends, while we watch him like that. She tells him, "You still have a long way to go." The next morning, she starts training him in something else, and he is actually able to make water come out from under his feet. She told him, "The road is still long for you. You want to see real water?" And a waterfall came down on him. Then, he trains on something else, which is wind energy. As for this, he tries to create a clone similar to her. She told him, "This is too small." The teacher tries to enlarge this clone to a very large size, like the mountains, and holds it as you can see. She told him, "You still have a long way to go. Do you think this is power?" He said, "No, by God, I'm at my limit." After some days, the teacher Merlin gets tired, and Lloyd checks on her, but unfortunately, she is not well. Perhaps her fever is very high. Lloyd tries to relieve her and makes cold compresses for her until she gets well, thank God. She hugs him and says, "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done without you." She grabs him by the scruff of his neck and says, "Come on, big guy. It's time for training." They train every day, again and again, for a week, 2, and 3. One day, his trainer Merlin was holding a certain book when Lloyd entered and said to her, "The food is ready, my teacher." At that moment, the book falls from her hand to the ground. Lloyd reaches out to pick up the book, and here something very strange happens. The book seemed to empower him with great strength, then he completely loses consciousness. The teacher is surprised and says, "What is this? Does he also have what it takes to be a chosen one? If this is his destiny, then I must take great care of him. I will not let this boy repeat my mistakes. Rather, he should not become arrogant with his abilities." The next day, she trains him on some things, and as you can see, she does some strange things that have no connection to reality. Then she eats from the fruit that she enlarged using her supernatural powers, which is an impossible feat. He says to her, "You are amazing, my teacher." At night, she tells him, "I heard that there are some monsters that can use a strange magic to control other monsters, but don't worry about it. It's an old magic and hasn't been used for a long time." The next morning, the training began again. Then she hits him hard on his backside and tells him, "You must not be complacent in your training." Afterwards, they enter the next stage, which is crystal magic. The days and nights pass, and she takes him to this place. Yes, my friends, it's a forest full of monsters. Then she gives him that dagger and tells him, "Return home within a week." He says, "What are you saying, you crazy woman? You want me to commit suicide here?" She told him, "Listen, don't you want to learn? You have to survive using your magic and supernatural abilities." After that, she quickly returns to her house, leaving him alone. The first monster appears before him, and Lloyd runs away at great speed. He then escapes up a tree and says, "What a dark night. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything to them, but maybe I can escape from them all." He then uses a GPS-like ability to pinpoint the location of his house and finds that it is very far away. At night, we see him using his energy to eat that fruit. At night, Lloyd sits alone and uses his power, wanting to make a slight modification to it. He can now only strengthen the muscles of his fingers, and if he wants to reduce his mana consumption, he must improve the ability of the spell he uses to search for things, or else he will lack food. He can also increase his running speed using a specific spell. One day, while wandering in the forest, this giant spider appears before him, and he becomes very frightened. He is then pulled away and uses his power to teleport from the forest and returns determinedly to his home. When he reaches the house, he loses consciousness. After that, we see Lloyd as a young man, working in his house. At that time, his teacher comes to him and tells him that she is going out to finish a mission and will be back. He asks to borrow this book from her to read, and she agrees. After that, she tells him that she is working on a spell to stop aging and wants him to help her with many spells, like a healing spell. After they finish their work, they sit down to eat. The teacher tells Lloyd that she has thought of a new enhancement magic idea, and they must create it. As night falls, the teacher is still thinking about many spells, and Lloyd becomes exhausted from so much work and wants to sleep a little. The teacher tells him that she has cast a spell on him that allows him to go without sleep for a week, as she wants to finish her work. Lloyd gets angry with her, but he can't do anything about it. We then see Lloyd trying to improve himself and his skills day and night. On this morning, the teacher entered Lloyd's room to wake him up because they have a lot of work to do, but she did not find him in his room. The scene then shifts to Lloyd as he wanders through the city, where he finds many people and is very impressed by it and what is happening there. While wandering, he buys food, and while eating, he finds a flyer stating that adventurers are being recruited. Lloyd goes to this place to see the adventurers fighting monsters. He sees many great adventurers fighting many monsters, and Lloyd joins them in the fight. Indeed, the adventurers succeed in this mission. After that, we see an adventurer named Alan, whom many people admire and consider their hero because he was able to defeat the Cyclops in the fortress of Abatoth, a monster that no one else could defeat. We then see Alan sitting with his party celebrating their success. He then gives Lloyd his share from the mission. At night, when it gets dark, there's a knock on the door. The teacher thinks that Lloyd has returned, but she finds a boy named Will, who informs her that Lloyd has been recruited into the hero's party. The teacher says it's time for him to face a real battle, and there's nothing to fear as long as he doesn't become arrogant. I don't want to repeat my mistake twice. Will says the demon lord sacrificed himself trying to steal that magic book, in addition to dragging you with him to damnation. They remember what happened in the past when an old spell brought back everyone who had been struck down by the demon lord. The scene shifts to a crowd of people and a man asking them to watch the heroic deeds of the rising duelist, the hero Alan, and his team as they eliminate various types of monsters. We see Alan and his team attacking the monsters, defeating a huge bull. In the evening, Alan walks in on the girl from his team and finds her reading a book. He praises her for being a diligent girl. She tells him that she is reading about the basics of defense because she has recently felt something strange about the blows she blocks with her shield. She says to him, I haven't seen you train in a long time. Alan replies with arrogance, because I am very strong and don't need to train. Elsewhere, we see soldiers drinking from a river when a large monster emerges and kills them all. The news reaches Alan, and a guard informs him that the Border Patrol soldiers have been wiped out one by one. Alan says that exterminating some of these monsters is a very easy task. He gathers his team and they go to the river. Lloyd examines the monster's location and they go to it. Alan kills it instantly. At that moment, another monster appears, and we see that there is a person holding a staff with a black gem, who must be the one controlling these monsters. At this moment, Lloyd creates a magic circle and asks Lulu to shoot at the sorcerer. Indeed, she hits him with an arrow and takes the sorcerer's staff. At this moment, the leader Alan gets angry and tells Lloyd not to overstep his bounds. Lloyd tells the leader to wait because this monster's behavior will be unpredictable without the magic stone that was controlling it. Despite this, he does not listen to his words, and Alan begins to attack the monster. However, the monster is about to hit him, but Lloyd intervenes and changes leader Alan's position. Alan gets even angrier and tells him not to interfere. After that, he defeats the monster. We then move to the party's headquarters, where leader Alan issues an order to expel Lloyd from the party because he is always fumbling in the back and is useless. Indeed, Lloyd leaves and looks for a new party, but he finds that this party already has a white mage. He looks for another place and another party. He goes to the guild and hears a girl explaining to the guild official, "We are in desperate need of a freelance white mage, and soon." The official tells her that her request is very difficult. Just then, Lloyd arrives and tells them, "I am a white mage, and I am currently unemployed." She takes him and leaves quickly, and with that, our episode for today ends. Wait for us in the upcoming episodes with the hero Lloyd. We ask you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all that is new. Thrust into a savage new world, a young man will rise to become the most powerful ice sorcerer in history. With absolute power at his command, he hunts fearsome monsters and shatters colossal dragons. What will become of a life forged in endless adventure? Follow his journey and witness the legend unfold. Our episode today begins with a new anime. A boy named Rio wakes up, looks around, and manipulates water with a fantastic power from his hand. It appears he is training his supernatural abilities. The scene then shifts to a world filled with shadows and blurs. "Where am I? What is this place?" Rio asks. A man appears before him and says, "Are you Rio? I'm so glad you're all right. It has been a long time since I've had a visitor." He then adds, "Unfortunately, it seems you passed away after a very difficult accident." Rio replies, "Yes, I remember that. An important note. This in no way reflects reality. What happens after death are matters of the unseen, known only to God. We know that after death comes the resurrection. And after that, either heaven or hell. After that, the man disappears, and Rio returns to the living world, trying to adapt to his new circumstances. He finds himself in a large house in the Rondo Forest with a 2-month supply of food. He discovers the house is an ice house for food storage, a wonderful feature. The house is fully equipped with what seems to be a defensive barrier to keep monsters from approaching. What is this encyclopedia? Rio wonders. I can read it even though I've never seen this language before. And this one is a plant encyclopedia. He uses his power again, and water flows. I think if I can visualize what I'm doing, there's no need to speak, he muses. But I've always found chance to be a wonderful thing. He uses his power to fill a water tank. He then tries to use his power to light a piece of wood, but fails. Exhausted, he falls asleep. Looking at the sun, he says, "It's truly beautiful, but I need to figure out how to make ice. I wish I could cast spells like Ice Spear. Ultimately, I need to apply pressure while removing heat. I have to picture the H2O molecules in the center of the water. If I can link the oxygen atom to the adjacent molecule, the idea will work." And it does, all thanks to hydrogen bonds. Now, if I can make it take the shape I want, that would be wonderful. He then takes a hot bath and goes to sleep. In the morning, he eats some dried food and says, "I'd better start training if I want." A quiet and safe life. He practices his water abilities, shooting directly at a tree. He tries again but fails. Afterward, he successfully uses a water gun. He tries again and again, and the process becomes a complete success. The next morning, he tries something new in his training, turning water into ice. Rio then uses his power to launch an ice spear. He discovers that launching it is not as easy as shooting fire, given the difficulty of its creation and its limited range. He has doubts about its practical applications in battle, so for now, training is the only way to achieve mastery. Rio continues to experiment with his magical powers until sunset. He feels he is about to lose consciousness because the magic is draining his strength. Rio returns to the house and finds it dark, as he cannot light a fire. He sleeps and wakes up in the morning, deciding to venture outside the barrier. While wandering, he finds a piece of quartz, which he was sure he would find on the riverbank. Now, he can light fires even after sunset. He just needs to gather some purifying herbs, and today's adventure will be a success. As he sits down to gather the herbs, something appears before him. Suddenly, a boar-like monster appears and tries to attack him. Rio is terrified, but gathers his strength to use magic. He casts an Ice Road spell, followed by an Ice Spear, and with that, he manages to kill the boar. At night, he returns home to look up lesser wild boars in his books. He finds they are classified under the weakest ranks, and that his monster encyclopedia is a beginner's edition. However, it's mentioned that the last 2 pages are a special edition. When he opens them, he finds they are about dragons, each capable of easily destroying an entire city. There's a written warning to flee immediately upon seeing one. The next morning, Rio goes to the garden to pick fruit. When he eats it, he finds it incredibly delicious. At that moment, a large bird attacks him with great force. Rio becomes very tense due to the bird's power. It's a killer hawk, capable of using wind swords, a hidden type of offensive wind magic. Its primary weapon, however, is its diving attacks while brandishing its sharp talons and beak. It tries to strike Rio, who runs away, but he knows he won't be able to escape. He decides to confront it. When the bird tries to attack again, Rio strikes it in the eye with his spear, and the bird flees into the distance. Rio lies on the ground, blaming himself because a quiet life is harder than he expected. When night falls, Rio tries to return home but gets lost while fighting the hawk. He continues to wander and finds a man with a horse, but the man has a body with no head. Rio pays him no mind. The next morning, as Rio wanders through the forest, a cobra appears before him. He kills it easily and then goes fishing. Rio tests his magic and strength and finds that he is very powerful. He then breaks a rock, saying, "If I use magic to increase the hardness of the ice, it could serve as an abrasive material. Perhaps I am finally starting to master magic." The beginner's edition of the Monster Encyclopedia didn't mention anything about a Dullahan. Is it not considered a monster, or is it too advanced to be included in the beginner's edition? Then, this thing appears and attacks him, but it blocks all his attacks and strikes him down. Rio falls, saying, "I don't think I stand a chance against him yet. But there's a reason I come here every night. It's like he's telling me he'll train me until I reach the required level." Rio is then amazed to see this man holding a water sword. He gives it to Rio, then leaves. The next day, the hawk reappears. Rio says, "Is that the same killer hawk? But its color wasn't this dark." Rio uses his power to fight the beast, striking it multiple times. He then uses an ice wall and ice spear. but the hawk dodges and breaks through all of it. Rio is astonished and says, "Could it be some kind of enhancement magic? That's a dangerous ability it has developed." Rio then strikes it multiple times, and it falls to the ground. Rio approaches it. "I got its eye. Even if we both gave it our all and you still lost to me, it's hard to accept. But at least our encounter helped me improve. I wanted to become stronger in anticipation of your return, and out of respect for the pride you've shown, I will finish you now." Rio takes his sword, and the hawk falls to the ground, dead. After that, a dragon appears before Rio and speaks to him telepathically. "It has been a long time since I've used telepathy. I wasn't sure it still worked. I wanted to ask you something. Did you happen to encounter a bird that evolved from a killer hawk around here?" Rio replies, "Yes, I did. It wasn't one of your followers, was it? If so, I must apologize." The dragon says, "So you defeated it? A very impressive feat. I can't help but notice you carry a rare weapon at your waist." The dragon sees the sword and is amazed, then says, "That is the sword of the Fairy King. If he gave it to you, you must have done something to earn his approval." Rio says, "With your permission, I was hoping to ask you some questions as well." The dragon replies, "You must excuse me, but I am being summoned. I enjoyed our conversation." Rio says, "I appreciate everything you've told me. I hope we meet again," the dragon says in farewell. Rio then says to himself, "I never expected I would talk to a dragon. Anything can happen in a fantasy world. It seems I overlooked something." Then an old man says, "No one has had a hidden trait like that. Girl I first sent to another world 10,000 years ago." In Rio's case, his hidden trait is eternal youth. And so ends today's episode of this anime. Wait for me in the upcoming episodes. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to receive all that is new. A very shy girl, but she's the most powerful sorceress in the world. She defeated a legendary black dragon in complete silence, and now her mission is to protect the second prince without anyone knowing. Will she be able to face the enemies? And the people as well? Our episode begins with this great battle, where we see a group in the desert trying to repel this attack. The great dragons were attacking them from everywhere, raiding them, but the mages created a protective barrier. This was all in the kingdom of Riddell, where the territory of Count Kerbeck faced these dragons for several years, because they were accustomed to it. The history of the Count's family is a history full of battles with dragons. They try to deal a fatal blow to it, but unfortunately it will not affect it. They are now trying to hit its eye directly, for if they hit its eye directly, the dragon will fall and will not see anyone in front of it, and thus they will cut off its head. The commander tells them to maintain their formation and steadfastness, no matter what happens. But here something very strange happens, like an earthquake or a deafening blow that shakes the entire place. Everyone is now in a state of silence, waiting for what has happened. Are these the events of the end? Or is there something else bigger than the dragon? Is it the Antichrist? We do not know yet what the matter is, my friends. And it is only moments before the curtain is lifted on this giant dragon, more than 500 meters long. Everyone stood in a state of silence. Yes, it is a great disaster. This black dragon is surrounded by dragons as if they were flies to him. What do you think if the small dragons that are like flies to this black dragon were something humans could not deal with? So what do you think they will do to this black dragon? This dragon has appeared only twice in the history of the Kingdom of Riddell, and records indicate that many cities were completely destroyed by this red dragon. After that, we see the Count's daughter in the royal palace, whose name is Isabel, and her assistant tells her, "The danger is upon us, my lady. We must evacuate immediately." She told her that this is not permissible. "My father and the knights are fighting, and as his daughter, it is unforgivable for me to abandon the people at this time, even if it costs me to fight with them." The scene shifts to that girl, whose name is Monica. Her assistant has brought her a lot of food, a lot of greens, carrots, tomatoes, and some things. She takes her inside and sees that the place is a sty. Many books, things like garbage. The chaos is rampant in the place. Then the little one tells her that 3 months ago, the eastern borders were attacked by dragons. I heard that many winged dragons appeared near the village, and what is more terrifying is that the leader of the winged dragons was the legendary black dragon, Worgen, and it seems that one of the 7 sages sent him there, but I have not yet found out who these mages are, who killed them. After that, Monica gives her some money because she brought her a lot of things, and the other thanks her for this much money, but it is too much. "What exactly do you do, Monica? What is your job?" Monica stammers and tells her, "I am an expert in mathematics, a mathematics teacher." The other tells her that a colleague of yours wants to meet you. Monica trembles because she doesn't want anyone to know anything about her. At that moment, she looks behind her, not wanting to see that person, and slams the door in his face. But he pushes the door open again. He seems like a very pushy guy. He enters forcefully and sits down as if it's his own house. Then he uses his powers and tidies up the entire place. We learn then that Monica is one of the 7 sages, the elite of the mages in the kingdom of Riddell. She is the silent sorceress, my friends, a very beautiful girl, extremely shy and easily flustered. She finds it difficult to speak in front of people. As for this, we see her at the Minerva Institute, and we see her interacting with people while being very embarrassed, trembling, unable to even speak, as if she might lose consciousness in the worst cases. Naturally, she couldn't say anything. She was on the verge of failure when an idea came to her. If her nervousness prevented her from chanting in front of the examiner, then she would use her powers and her magic without incantations. This is an extraordinary thing that most people would try to overcome their fear of strangers and social anxiety, but Monica's thinking took a different and unexpected turn. Indeed, she extinguished the candle without speaking a single word, and so her talent grew. She was promoted quickly. After all this nice talk about Monica, we return to reality. The visitor speaks to her and says, "I see you are still wasting your talent, my wise colleague." This colleague is named Louis. He then orders his servant to cast a barrier spell so that no one can hear them, as if it were a private meeting room. Then Louis gets to the point and says that he came to visit her today because he has a request for her. "In fact, I was working as a personal guard for the second prince under secret orders from His Majesty the King," she said to him. "But aren't you a member of the first prince's faction?" He told her, "Yes, but I was assigned to guard the second prince for some reason. I have my own suspicions about the reason, but speaking of His Majesty's intentions based on guesswork is disrespectful, so I will say no more. What matters is that I was ordered to protect the second prince without his knowledge. His Highness, Prince Felix, the second prince, is studying at the Sardinia Academy, which is a boarding school. Trying to infiltrate the academy would be easier for me, but that doesn't seem plausible with my reputation and good looks to be suitable for undercover work. That's why I prepared this for you, a barrier that combines tracking and communication, equipped with a risk observatory and short-range physical and magical defense." Louis told her that this is a protective magical item that he designed carefully himself. This brooch, in addition to the other one he gave to His Highness Prince Felix, are identical, allowing him to monitor the prince's location and movements at all times. Monica told him that this is considered spying. He replied that it is normal for a person to follow the one he is assigned to protect. Monica becomes nervous because it is possible that he will be in trouble, I believe, if this matter is discovered. Louis told her that she seems to be very wise, but he would never harm a prince. Then he tells her about the brooch, that the king was the one who gifted it to the prince under the pretext that it was a gift, and it seems that it was broken the very next day after he gave it to him. Chris spent a whole week of continuous effort without sleep or fatigue, but it disappeared in just one day. And after the brooch was broken, he endured a lot, even being away from his beloved wife, in order to design this piece. Monica asked him if the prince was okay or not. He replied that he was fine. Despite his extreme fatigue, he gathered his strength and rushed to the academy, and when he arrived, they told him that nothing had happened, as they only said that the brooch was broken by accident. He then looked at Monica and told her that she must understand what he was trying to say. Monica replied that she didn't understand anything. He responded that he wanted her to infiltrate the academy and protect the prince in his stead. Monica becomes very scared, as she won't be able to do it. He replied that she was not a part of high society, unlike him. Even at official functions, she keeps her head covered and her gaze lowered so no one here knows her face. It would never cross anyone's mind that a simple girl like her belongs to the Seven Sages. Also, her talent for using silent magic is perfect for providing secret protection. Monica cries a lot because she doesn't want to do it. Louis then told her that it has been about 2 years since they joined the Seven Sages, and all she has done in that time is lock herself up here and immerse herself in paperwork. She replied that she killed a dragon 3 months ago. Louis interrupted her, saying that in the past 3 months he has killed 10 dragons, so he doesn't understand the point of her words. He then asked her to listen. She is one of the most powerful mages in the kingdom and one of the Seven Sages, and she must realize that there are tasks that only she can accomplish. She replied that she only joined the Seven Sages as a backup. Louis didn't care what she said. All that mattered to him was that the king had entrusted him with the full responsibility of guarding the second prince, which meant that she had no choice but to agree to what he said. Monica is forced to agree. Louis relaxes and sits down to tell her the details. A few years ago, in the lands of Count Kerbeck, there was a girl with no family. The former Countess Kerbeck saw a resemblance between the girl and her late husband and decided to adopt her. The girl enjoyed the affection of the former countess and grew up in happiness and contentment. But the countess fell ill with a terminal disease and died. After the girl lost her guardian, she was hated by the count's cruel daughter and was forced to work as a servant. Then, When the Count's daughter was accepted into the Serendia Academy, the girl was forced to accompany her as her maid. Monica becomes very sad for the girl. Then Louis tells her that she will play the role of this poor girl. Monica is shocked by this request and cannot answer him. Night falls and Monica remains as she is. Her cat tries to get her to talk to him. Monica speaks and tells him that she can't guard the prince. The cat told her that she should have simply refused all of this. She tells him that she can't do that because Louis would follow her wherever she went. His appearance is terrifying. The hard warts on the joints of his hands under his gloves frighten her. The cat asked her to look on the bright side. The prince must be very attractive. Then he told her that he loves books, and this is mentioned in Dustin Gunther's book, so he is fully aware of the matter. Monica hesitates, then tells him that the 7 sages are not supposed to attend celebrations and the like. Isn't it assumed that the 7 sages attend celebrations and the like? Haven't you seen the king before? Monica says that she always closes, her eyes out of shyness. Nero the cat then asks, and how will you protect this person if you don't know him? After that, we see Monica flying in the sky with Louis and Rains. They eventually arrive at Louis's house. Louis's wife examines her and thinks she is not well because her face is pale. Then Monica rests a little and seems to be in good condition afterward. She enters this girl's room, who scoffs at her clothes and makes fun of them because her clothes are worn out as usual. She says that her name is registered among the lower classes of the Count Kerbeck family, and this is a great embarrassment to our family, and she scoffs at her with laughter. But the surprise is that this girl says that she was practicing improving her voice daily and is now practicing the voice of a wicked girl. Then this girl introduces herself. Her name is Isabel, and she is the daughter of Count Kerbeck. On behalf of my father and the people of the village, I offer you my sincere thanks for killing the Black Dragon. Lady Isabel remembers the situation before that, when the Black Dragon attacked the village and was heading towards their palace. News comes to her from this little boy that a sorceress from the royal capital has defeated the Black Dragon. She is the silent sorceress. She was able to eliminate the Black Dragon by herself, and there was no damage or any casualties. At that, she cries. At this moment, we see the green dragons enter the city and begin to destroy it. The winged dragons have come to take revenge for the Black Dragon. A large dragon stands on the palace and heads towards Isabel. It attacks her, but at the last moment, someone sends a spell at it, destroying this dragon in an instant. It then appears that it is the girl, Monica, the wielder of silent magic. This is a great advantage of this sorceress. Humans cannot control mana and magic without incantations. But this genius made the impossible possible. This great sorceress, Monica Everett, is one of the 7 sages, the elite of the mages of the Kingdom of Riddell, and she is the first sorceress in history to create spells without incantations. Then Monica eliminates all the dragons that were attacking the city. We return to reality once again, and Isabel says that Monica not only defeated the Black Dragon, but all the winged dragons as well, and she did it by herself. Moreover, she used the wind to carry the fallen winged dragons to protect the city from harm, and you disappeared without uttering a single word. I heard that you will be infiltrating Serendia Academy this time, and I will bully you again and again so that no one will suspect you. Don't worry and focus completely on protecting His Highness, please. Monica is very surprised and shocked by Isabel's words. And to this extent, our episode ends today. Wait for us in the next episode of this wonderful anime. We hope you don't miss the next episode, and for that, we ask you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all that is new. I hope whoever has reached the end of this video will leave a nice comment, as that makes us very happy. Thank you for watching. In a world drowned in darkness, an unstoppable force has awakened. But what makes a demon beast cradle a human child in its claws? The screams of kingdoms fall silent, and blood trails the path ahead. At the heart of chaos, a secret is born, one that could shatter everything if revealed. This isn't a tale of heroes. It's a prophecy wrapped in bone and doom. Our episode today from this anime begins with that beautiful girl practicing and brandishing a staff. That girl's name is Alicia. While her father was plowing the field, a skilled farmer, he says to her, "Let's go back to the house." They then return to their beautiful and humble home. In the evening, the father is carving something. Alicia asks her father a question. "Tell me, father, why is everything around the city of Adthea on this map black?" He tells her that the area is probably very dangerous. "But we don't know what is there. We know there is something beyond the continent of Adthea, but dangerous dark monsters live in the dark places. The 4 dark monster lords who protect the east, west, north, and south have destroyed all the expeditions we sent. For many years, we have prevented the 4 dark lords from going to the far reaches of Adthea and beyond. But if the legend is true, there is an ancient legend that the hero will use a weapon given to him by the King of Haydn and will defeat the four lords. Then people will know the true size of the world. Alicia asks him, are the dark monster lords strong? The father tells her, yes, they are very strong. It is said they can split the sky and the earth. That is why the hero must obtain a special weapon from the King of Haydn. It is said this weapon is only given to heroes. It makes its wielder much stronger. She said to him, I want this weapon. I will become a hero one day and make the world much bigger. After that, the scene shifts to this place, or rather this cart, when the girl finds something and says, it's finally time, father. It's time to find the answer to my dream. We learn or deduce that this girl is probably Alicia, and what we mentioned earlier was about her past with her father. After that, Katz talks about the many treasures. This one is Horgus, and this other one is Merlot, and they are Migo. They are all from different countries and are talking about the heroine. The existence of a heroine is a surprising matter. They then ask her where she is from, and they have not heard her name yet. But Stefan interrupts them, saying, here we are. We could be attacked at any moment. Stay on alert and keep your hands on the trigger. Then the driver of the cart stops and tells them, I'm sorry, heroes. The road has started to become rough. The horses cannot go any further. You must proceed on foot. At that moment, a surprise attack comes, and they devour the horses in an instant, in a split second. The heroes quickly get out. Everyone takes their position and moves. They start aiming for their eyes and kill many of them. Then they advance with great speed, killing everyone in front of them, showing no pity or mercy. They are truly strong, but can they hold out for a longer period? And what about the king of those monsters? After that, powerful venomous snakes emerge and spit their deadly venom, but Stefan uses a powerful cutting wave and kills them all. After he beheaded it, the creature transforms and bites him, but it is hit by his friend with an arrow in its eye. Finally, they reach the lair of the Dark Monster Lord. If they reach the summit, they will be the first heroes to fulfill the legend we mentioned earlier. At that moment, the Demon King emerges before them. He was at the top, and he uses his high destructive power and strikes the entire mountain. Yes, my friends, it is one of the four Dark Monster Lords, the ruler of the farthest south of Athia. Here, Stefan steps forward and says, I swear we will eliminate him. But when they advanced, the monster killed him instantly as if he were a fly. Not only that, but the situation worsened, and it killed them one after another. Alicia tells them that the attacks are coming from the shadows. Everyone, get away from the shadows quickly. They jump. Everyone started to be cautious, but one of them also dies while trying to attack it, and another is also killed in a very difficult way. As for Alicia, she was jumping from one point to another trying to evade its attacks. Then the monster speaks and says, what are these insects and why have they come here? It has been more than 1,000 years. Then Alicia finally launches her finishing attack directly at its head, but it hits her with a very powerful blow, cutting off her leg, as you can see. It's a very difficult situation. Then, as she is dying, she says, I'm so sorry, father. I have failed. I couldn't get the answer to my dream. After that, we now move to the Kingdom of Haydn, where we see some humanoids making weapons. Then they look up. Perhaps something is coming. Yes, my friends, it is the decisive moment. A black wolf monster comes to them, blowing up entire places. The dark monster spreads terror, destroying the land with its immense power. Then it says to them, the heroes who invaded my land said that the King of Haydn chose them. This means the king is now in that palace, but I will kill everyone who stands in my way, just as they did before. The archers try to shoot at it, but it deflects the blows with great ease. Then it rushes at full speed, wanting to enter the fortress. Everyone prepares. Yes, it is war. They get ready and bring the catapults, launching with all their might, but it has no effect on it. Nothing affects it. It is very strong. They try with it again, to no avail. At that moment, it kills them all. After that, someone enters to the king and tells him, my lord, you must flee quickly. A dark monster has appeared near the castle, and it now wants to storm the palace. The king says, I can guess what it is. The heroes have failed. The power of Haydn's blades, the mana power of Hydrorite, was not strong enough in my generation. Then one of the soldiers said, the dark monster has reached the castle, and asks the king to flee quickly because we cannot stop it. The king told him, if we cannot stop him, there is no point in running. We will seal the forge. The fire of Haydn must not be extinguished. Then we see the soldiers running after each other, saying, open the eastern gates from the 1st to the 6th. Bring out the connected catapults. From the 1st to the 6th, the second connected catapult company is in position. Target the monster clinging to the castle. Target it quickly. Another soldier speaks to him, saying, but we will hit the castle. We cannot hit the royal castle with the royal catapults. The second one speaks to him angrily. All we have to do is protect the king and the king's forge. Then the monster speaks, there was something different about the heroes. The soldiers begin to shoot arrows and weapons at it, but it blocks everything. The weapons, as I expected, those red blades hurt my horns. Even insects can pose a threat to it. If that is what distinguishes the human race, I must see for myself before it grows stronger. We see the king open this gate, but the monster destroys it and enters to the king in his palace, saying to him, "I have found you. You must be the king of Haydn." Then the king speaks to him, saying, "A monster like you has no right to use human words." The dark monster lord told him, "I may destroy the entire human race if I don't like your answer. Not just the inhabitants of Haydn, but Don, Org, Saladan, and Pent, all the countries and inhabitants of Adthea. Even if I kill you and destroy your nation, if the rest are like you, more will come to trouble my lands. So I want to know the true nature of humans. You who wear flashy clothes and walk on two legs, what kind of creatures are you? Answer me," the king replied. "A monster like you will never understand." The king did not finish his sentence before the monster immediately cut off his head. The monster lord then destroys the rest of the city, saying to himself, "I will raise an army first by annihilating the demi-humans." On his way, he hears a child crying intensely. He goes to him and recognizes he is a child from Haydn. The mother then asks the monster to save him. He told her that he, Cliffidus, has decided to destroy all demi-humans. "If you want to know why, it's because you gave birth to a human child in Haydn." She told him, "Children cannot choose the time and place of their birth. Whatever atrocities the adults have committed against you, that cannot be a reason for this child to die. What of one too small to even stand?" The monster lord replied to her, "From my point of view, a demi-human remains a demi-human. It doesn't matter if it's a child or an adult. He will carry a sword when he grows up and will come to harm us, the dark monsters. He will not be satisfied with his current lands and will invade our lands. Moreover, he is dangerous and troublesome, so I will eliminate him." The monster takes the small child and says, "I'm still not convinced, but a human's life is but a moment from my perspective, so prove it to me." After that, we see this map. On the land of Adthea, there are 5 demi-human races. The first is the Don race. They are the highest in number and are skilled in architecture and war planning. They built 2 great nations that split the Don plain in the middle of the continent, Aslian and Polit. The second of these races is the Org race, the brave inhabitants of the forest who excel in hunting and medicine. The third race is the Saladan race. They do not like to interact with other races. The fourth race is the Pent race, a barbaric race living in the desolate wastelands, individualistic but cohesively divided. The other race is the Haydn race. They are the oldest and most mysterious race. Their specialty was in the arts of refining and shaping metals. Haydn is a small country in the middle of the mountains. They are the only ones capable of making weapons from magic stones, and the only ones who know the required techniques. Therefore, it is their royal family, who live in the capital Hydrate, who have a long history of selling weapons to the Don race. These days, Haydn hybrids are the most common. Pure Haydns are rare. The world extends beyond the lands of Adthea, but these 5 races know nothing about it because the dark monsters live outside the lands of Adthea, and their 4 lords block the way. After that, we go to Moon Mountain. We see many monsters in front of this small child, but the monster lord comes and puts the small child to sleep, saying, "I can restore his strength, but that will only delay the inevitable. It will not solve the real problem. Why is he wrapped in this fine fur? I assume it's to protect his frail body, but he will soon be covered in his own waste." The small child cries again, but the monster didn't know what he wanted. The monster gets annoyed with him and throws him into this hole. Then he takes him again, saying to him, "I promise I will take care of you until you grow up. If I am to decide the fate of all the demi-humans who live in the land of Adthea." Suddenly, Alicia wakes up from her sleep and wants to attack the monster lord, but she didn't have a sword. The monster said to her, "I threw the bodies of your companions and your weapons to the bottom of the ravine. You are now a walking corpse, empowered by the dark fluid I gave you." Alicia is astonished, saying, "What do you mean? How can you speak the human language? Am I the only survivor?" The monster then asks her to breastfeed this infant because he is very hungry. The dark monster finds no milk in Alicia's breast, as she is a virgin. He is surprised by this, and she informs him that only a mother who has given birth can produce milk. The dark monster becomes very annoyed. Alicia asks him to kill her again and relieve her of this humiliation. He tells her that she will not die because the dark fluid runs in her veins. The baby starts crying again. The dark monster uses his power to restore the child's energy, but he can do nothing about his hunger. She asks him why he has a human child in the first place, but he doesn't answer, and asks her for a solution to quiet the child and satisfy his hunger. Alicia tells him, "If he has no mother, you must find a wet nurse. She is a substitute for the mother. She produces milk if the mother cannot. If you don't know anyone, you must hire one with money or its equivalent, like these diamonds found in this mountain. A single diamond from this mountain can hire a wet nurse." Alicia thinks to herself, that if she had her sword, she could attack him, but she is helpless as she cannot move her body. He controls it completely. He asks her to go with him to hire the wet nurse. She tells him, "Wait, you can't really go yourself. If you go in this form, you will cause a panic in the entire city, and you will never find your wet nurse. Give me the child. I will go instead." She thinks to herself, "I cannot allow this monster to approach a human village. I will find a wet nurse and give her the child." The dark monster refuses, as he does not want the child to die out of his sight. "But this child may not grow up to be a healthy human because I am carrying him incorrectly, and then I won't be able to decide." At that moment, the monster transforms into a beautiful woman, the same form as the child's mother. Alicia is shocked at what happened to his body. The dark monster tells her, "I control the shadows. This is the form of the one who carried this child. I hid the rest of my body." He then hides his tails to become like an ordinary woman, except for a horn on his forehead. He then thinks of giving himself a name, and a name for the child, in order to walk in the human world. The monster names himself Klin, and the little boy is named Luna. He then learns the heroine's name, and they head towards the city. After that, we see Alicia cleaning the baby. The transformed monster orders her to clean him well and to take great care. Then, he orders her to take off her clothes and bathe in the river because her clothes have blood on them and could affect the child. He gives her the child's dirty cloth to wash with hers. She begins to wash this piece of cloth and finds the crest of the royal family of Haydn on it. She learns that this child is from the royal family. Elsewhere, we see a young man on his horse, marveling at what has happened in the city. A single dark monster did all this to the city. He blames the king for sending the warriors and provoking the dark monsters. He says that the princess's fears were justified, and the plan was for her to escape the castle with her son. This means the little boy is the princess's son, but this young man does not know what has happened. He calls out, "Is anyone alive?" But no one answers him. In another scene, we see a gang and their leader, whose name is General Drill. He orders one of his followers to send a messenger to inform the emperor that the legend has fallen with the destruction of Hydrate Castle and the probable death of the king. We must move elsewhere. There is a possibility of the dark monsters gathering from the south as well, since it is undefended. But more important are the secrets of making Arcanasite, which only the royal family of Haydn knows. We must not let another country steal it before us. I will return to the border and restructure our armies." Then this general orders one of his followers, named Maynard, to stay here and search for survivors of the royal family and their relatives, and to capture them alive, if any are found. The scene then shifts to Alicia, who is shouting and holding this garment high, saying that this child is from the royal family. Only members of the royal family are allowed to bear this crest, which means this child carries royal blood. "Did you know that when you kidnapped him?" The transformed monster informs her. "I did not kidnap this child. He was entrusted to me by a woman who looked like this form I am in now." Alicia is surprised and calls him a liar. The transformed monster replies, "I am telling the truth. I found him at the destroyed castle. I destroyed the castle while I was killing the king of Haydn." Alicia is very surprised that he has killed the king. "That's because you attacked us first," he states. Alicia tells him, "If the king is dead and this child is from the royal family, everyone will be looking for him. That's because the art of making Arcanasite is said to be something only the kings of Haydn can do." The transformed monster realizes that this craft is the one used to make the weapons they fought him with. "I was wondering why I decided to raise this child, but I understand now. He carries the fate of a bloodline he cannot resist. This is also interesting. Then I will make him a king, and I will support his rule from the shadows. I had no interest in conquest, but if I am to observe the demi-humans, I prefer to do it from a high position. It would be amusing to place my servants in power as well, so that I can destroy them whenever I wish." Alicia becomes very frightened by these words and thinks a lot about them and what the fate of the world will be. But he is very interested in this child. If the child were taken from him or killed, he would likely kill all humans. I must prevent that. This is my last mission as a hero. They continue walking in search of the wet nurse. Suddenly, bandits emerge, and one of them attacks the transformed monster off guard. Alicia warns him, but he takes the blow to his head. The rest of the bandits surround them. Alicia says with disgust, "They are bandits, and their fate is certain death." But suddenly something strange happens. Blood flows from the transformed monster. He falls to the ground, bleeding profusely. Alicia is shocked by this situation. One of them hits her on the head, and she too loses consciousness. They capture them all. What will happen in the next episode? What is the fate of Alicia and this transformed monster? Is this a trick from him? Or is he very weak in this form? This is what we will find out in the next episode, so stay tuned. But we ask you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell icon to receive all that is new.